Yes, thank you, Jim. Yes, I am. We hear sadly every day about the virus, and it's obviously growing and expanding despite our best efforts around the world, including here in the United States. We've seen record-breaking cases, of course, happening over the last several weeks, particularly in the Midwest and in other areas of the country. Despite what Donald Trump and Dr. Anthony Fauci have been saying, with the promise of a potential vaccine as well as the advances in therapeutics, there are still many things that need to be done in order to address this worldwide pandemic. I am actually here today in the very foundation of potentially groundbreaking approach. I'm actually here at the International School of Empathic Virology. I'm about to speak with Dr. Vladimir Didmore, who actually has developed a new technique which he says is going to revolutionize our approach to this worldwide pandemic. His approach involves as the name of the school suggests, using empathy and trying to motivate the virus from a psychological perspective, as opposed to a rather than using chemicals and vaccines and other therapeutics to address the virus. He is actually promoting and trying to develop, in fact he has developed a way to communicate with the virus, to try and understand the virus. And try to empathize with the virus. So it's obviously a very controversial and revolutionary, one might say, approach, but he has documented, there was a publication that came out just last week in the Sicilian Journal of Psychiatry, which actually noted some promise in a control group where he randomized 4 trillion viruses and compared it using 2 sessions of motivational interviewing to 14 Clorox swipes. And the 4 trillion viruses that were randomized to this new approach actually said that they did not want to harm anybody in the future. So we're going to be speaking momentarily with Dr. Didmore, who is on his way over here. He is actually doing an experiment right now as I'm speaking, talking. He does have an assistant who has developed the software, I understand, the translation software needed to be able to communicate accurately with the virus. Obviously, this is a very difficult endeavor, given that viruses tend to vibrate at a very different frequency, and it's not clear exactly what they're saying, and yet we do know that they are communicating. And according to Dr. Didmore, he is maintaining that they are trying to communicate with us in a way that we're clearly not understanding. And so I'm here to talk about his new approach with him. He will be, as I mentioned, coming down very shortly. He has isolated a single virum here. Here, as you can see, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it says here there is a virus, a single virum in here. As you can see, it's just, you can see that here, it just says, note, be careful, origin Wuhan. And this is a single virum, and he's actually strangely feeding it with a cashew nut. We'll be talking more about that. I am being very careful with that. Obviously, I don't fully understand the approach that he is using with the virum, but we'll certainly be understanding more about that momentarily. Tim? So, yes, hello. My name is Dr. Vladimir Didmore, and I am the founder but also the director of the International School of Empathic Virology. I take a different approach to coronavirus to try solve worldwide pandemic of the coronavirus. We have not taken, in my opinion, and so also of my colleagues, the correct approach to addressing the pandemic. It has only got worse, not better. So I use my school to understand what is going wrong, using what I call accurate virological empathy. And I will demonstrate this today for you. The goal of this is to understand the virus via communication. And with my colleague Igor Vlichtov from Vladivostok, he is probably the best known world programmer of software, translation software. He developed the Rosetta Stone software, or so he tells me. And now I understand he has set up a demonstration for today. And Igor, as I will interview, I'm going to interview for the first time on television an interview with the coronavirus. We have developed software to understand the language of the coronavirus. I have a single coronavirus here captured inside this plastic container. Don't worry, it won't escape. I have a cashew nut here because I don't know if you know, but they like cashew nut. I did not know this until very recently, but they do like cashews. Now, what I'm going to do, I will demonstrate, I'm going to interview, and the software will translate the interview with the questions I will ask of the virum, so we will understand it better. The philosophy here is to try and understand so that we may empathize and help to meet the needs of the virus. And this is where we have gone wrong. Instead of pushing it away and trying to kill it, we need to understand its needs. I did not know, for example, that it loved cashews. So there you go. So, Igor, turn on the coronavirus translation software. Okay, here it is. Very good. Okay, we are ready to go. Igor, maintain the coronavirus translation software. I will not be needing this for sure, because this only scares the virum, and I do not want to scare it. So, I approach the virum here, as you can see, and I take the lid off. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but it's down here. Hello. And it's right in the bottom right-hand corner of the little box here. And I'm going to now ask some questions in English, so you understand, and we will translate his response, or its response, I should say, excuse me. So, Vincent, can you hear me? He says he can hear me. We are wondering here what it is like being a coronavirus these days. He says he's feeling lonely because many of his friends and family have been killed. Yes, he tells me that he feels ostracized and pushed away when really he wants to be friendly. And Vincent, I call him Vincent the virus. It's just a nickname. I don't know his real name, and he won't tell me. But Vincent, why? What has been happening lately in your life? Can you tell us? I see. Very sadly, he says that 7.2 trillion of his close family have been killed in a Clorox swipe. And another 1.9 trillion may never wobble again. So we can see that this has been devastating for Vincent and other viruses in his family. When the wobble, you know, for a virus to wobble means they're happy. And so if a virus cannot wobble, surely this means really the end of a quality life for a virum. Vincent, what can you tell our listeners today about your experience and how we can best address your needs so we can stop also worrying the world from the human side? Sorry, could you speak up, Vincent? Thank you, better. Yes. He says that he really appreciates my work and my attempts to understand the virus. Thank you. But he says we should be doing more work like I am doing. Dr. Didmore is doing. So he says, and that he thinks that I am the best person in the world. That his words, not mine. But and he says, if you can support my work by making donation, you see the place you can make donation at the bottom of the screen. He says that he will go away soon. So please, if you can make a donation, Vincent will be appreciative and my work can continue. And so I hope that this demonstration, I will put the lid back on, so I don't want Vincent getting out and disturbing the peace here. Igor, turn off the coronavirus translation software. No, turn it off. Thank you. He has now turned off the software, and I would like to end here the demonstration.